Hi everyone! So if you follow my stories on Instagram, you will know that we have had some pretty exciting developments in the speech department of late with our son, Dexter. If you're new to our channel, Dexter is my 4.5-year-old son. He is smart and loving and train mad and he was diagnosed with autism at just turned 3 years old. I use this channel, Nurturing Neurodiversity, to, among other things, document our journey in real time so that you can follow his development over the course of the years. So if you're interested in doing that, make sure you subscribe so you can get notifications as and when I upload those updates. I'll just quickly run through Dexter's language development from a baby up until now, and then I'll show you some footage of what he's been doing lately. I think sharing this progression is important because you hear a lot of people say that their autistic children spoke late, and they'll maybe give you an age at which they started speaking. But not many people really explain how that happened, how that speech development took place, and how they went from non-verbal to verbal. And I know all autistic children develop differently. In those children who do go on to develop speech, which is the overwhelming majority, sometimes it happens very quickly and sometimes it's a very gradual process. From an early age, like a really early age, it became apparent that Dexter's attention was actually more focused towards the things in his environment rather than the people that were around him.
Yay! Dexter, twinkle, twinkle, little.
He also didn't really seem to understand when he was younger what we consider to be like simple social cues that typically developing children find so natural. You know, things like turning to his name, being called, looking at someone who was talking to him, and those non-verbal communication bits and pieces like pointing out what he wanted or bringing things to show you. I'm not saying that he didn't get joy from sharing his space with others. He did enjoy some people-led games, he loved songs, and he was a very affectionate child. It's more like he didn't see the point in the other aspects of those social interactions. Anyway, eventually non-verbal forms of communication did emerge. We did work on them, but they did come, like nodding for yes and shaking his head for no. But they came much later than you would expect from a typical child. And even now he is much less inclined to share his interests and what he's doing with you than your typical 4-year-old would be. Dexter always had the ability to understand language, at least literal, simple language anyway, commands and simple questions, things like that. Expressive language though was and is way more of an issue for Dexter. Focusing specifically on verbal language development, Dexter did babble from a very young age as a baby, but it sounded different than you would maybe expect. It was predominantly made up of vowel sounds.
All with different balls to play round Timothy's sheds and far away. Down the hill and round the bend. Thomas and his friends, yeah.
And his babble, when it did come, like the ba ba ba, it just felt like vocal play. It wasn't communicative, it wasn't aimed at anyone, and I don't feel like it had any particular meaning to him. It was just a noise that he liked. Then at maybe around 2 years old, he could mimic some sounds like ah, or do a dinosaur roar.
Dexter, what does he do?
Yeah.
Dinosaur goes,
Roar.
rah, good boy.
But again, it didn't happen very often because he really wasn't motivated to do it. So we couldn't work on it. And then at age 3, he got a bit better at mimicking like a greater range of sounds. We're still talking about sounds here. But he would gain and lose sounds, which is still an issue for us actually. So he could do like a g sound, and then it's like he forgot how to produce that, and then a few months later it's like he remembered again. By like 3.5, he had some word approximations, but they were very heavily prompt reliant. They were very unclear, and he didn't use them independently ever. I would have to say, like, Dexter, say up, 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 or cue him in ready, steady, and then a big pause for go. And he didn't do that very often, but he understood the concept.
Yeah.
Thomas,
Yeah.
what do you want? Should we get him first? Or do we... Up, 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 up.
It didn't really progress much from that point until the last few months. So what has happened? Well, he has become much more willing to mimic sounds. The sounds that he does mimic are becoming more and more accurate. And the biggest breakthrough is that he started trying to vocalize independently without prompts to convey meaning. Again, not often, but I am literally over the moon about this. I am so excited. Now, it's only able to ask for like 3 or 4 things with vocal word approximations. And a big reason for that is, as Dexter vocalizes more, his motor planning issues become more and more apparent. The issue between getting his brain to tell his mouth what to do, that there's a bit of a disconnect there. And it's looking increasingly like Dexter actually has a speech disorder alongside his autism, like apraxia, verbal dyspraxia. It's called different things in different countries. Because he has huge difficulty in blending sounds together into a word, he will often just use the first sound of the word. So if I ask, for example, Dexter, do you want cookie or banana? He will say either cook or ba, and that's enough for me to know what it is, which is a giant leap from where we were in January, and we're only in April. Now I'm going to show you some videos of Dexter's speech of late, and then I will talk about what we did that I think was absolutely key in getting us to this point. What did you want? Burger. 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 That's it! I want a burger. I want a burger. Yeah! It's the sounds game. It's the sounds game. Sit here. Right, put the sounds out and I'll give you one. Right. Ready? What about that one? What does it do? Moo. It's the... Where is that one? Yeah, it goes! Splash! Splash! Thomas and friends. Thomas and friends. Can you say that one? Ma. That's it, try again. Ma. Dada. Yay! Dada. You want me to open? Pardon? There you go. What colour is he? What colour? What? That's it, gold! What colour is he? What colour? Colour red. Red. 5 little Thomas trains jumping on the bed. Thomas fell off and bumped his head. Can you say mama?
Papa.
No, ma.
Pa.
Ma. Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, no more Thomas trains jumping on the bed. 1, 2, 3, 4 little, yeah, that's it. 4 little Thomas trains. 1, 2. Oh, careful. Yeah, come on. James fell off and bumped his head. Do you want to read a book? Do you want to get Mummy a book? Should we go and read a book?
Pa.
Book? Yeah, do you want to get a book? Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that... Do you want me to just say it? What does the sheep do?
Ba.
Bah! What does the duck do?
Duck.
Quack. Yeah, duck goes quack. Oh, it's working. What's this?
But.
Batteries. Good boy. Big.
Ba.
Bang! To those who are only used to typical child development, it might actually seem quite shocking to see a 4.5-year-old only make those basic sounds, but this is so huge to us, and I feel like it shows that he is eventually capable of communicating at least his basic needs verbally. Why is that important? Because I do value all forms of communication. It's important because it's the easiest way and the most universal way of conveying thoughts, and if he can use that, it would just make his life so much easier. So how did we get here? What's changed? In part, I think it's just a gradual thing, just his brain developing, but for those that don't know, Dexter has an AAC device, and that is how he communicates with us. And I really feel like this was instrumental in making that shift from mimicking me occasionally to where we are now. The reason being because when Dexter presses a button, it speaks the word, so he gets that immediate auditory feedback. And because he's such a visual learner, I mean, he could recognize words at 2 years old, written words, it's a great way for him to make that connection between the way the word looks and the way it sounds. So my advice to all parents of non or minimally verbal children is to look into AAC. It is never too soon, it is never too late, do it now, and don't worry that AAC hinders speech development. It doesn't, it helps it. Look at the research. I think that is everything I wanted to share with you all. So thank you for watching, and I'm so looking forward to making another update about this in 6 months' time to see where we are then. If we have got no further, you know, it's no big deal. I'm not putting any pressure on him, but I just feel like this feels like the start of it. It feels like we've got our first step on that road to verbal communication, and it's just amazing. It's an amazing feeling. So if this video interested you in any way or you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to follow our journey, please do subscribe or check us out on Instagram. Thank you so much, and I will be back soon. Bye!